One day I was volunteering at an elementary school in my neighborhood, and I noticed a little boy sitting on a bench in the foyer. And the classes were going on, and I wondered what the deal was. So I inquired with the school secretary, and she said that he had injured his wrist on the playground and was waiting for his ride to pick him up. And so all that I could think about was the hour or 2 hours he would be waiting at this bench doing nothing for his ride. So I asked if it would be okay if I would read with this boy. And it was, and we started, and I could see that he had some challenges in reading, and I worked with him on those challenges, and about after 20 minutes, he read a line, and you could see that he was thinking, and he read it perfectly, and you could see the light go off in his eyes. And I smiled, and he smiled, and I bragged on him, and we continued reading. He continued reading for another 30 minutes or so until his ride came and got him. Well, that little boy left a happy kid because he had achieved something that he probably would have not have had the same demeanor had he sat on that bench 2 hours doing nothing. For my part, it made my day because I knew that with each achievement comes self-confidence, and reading is really an important skill that we all, I know, value. It's important in our society that we all be good readers. Mr. Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters, and guests, we talk a lot about reading achievements in our children, but we don't really talk too much about the importance of the presence of a caring adult who has the time to be a part of a child's learning to read journey. Arkansas ranks 37th in 4th grade reading proficiency, and what that means is that there are 36 other states that do a better job of teaching more children how to read at proficient level by the end of 4th grade. In January, the Winthrop Rockefeller Foundation and the Arkansas Advocates for Families and Children launched a campaign. By the year 2020, all 3rd graders would be reading at the proficient level by the end of the 3rd grade year. Currently, there are 39% blacks, 28% Hispanics, and 18% whites that are not reading at the proficient level statewide by the end of their 3rd grade year. And interestingly enough, a predictor of school success and high school graduation is that they do indeed do that, read at the 3rd grade level by the end, proficiently at the end of the 3rd grade year. In the handout that you have, this is explains a little bit of what areas where this campaign has decided to focus on: school readiness, chronic absence, summer learning loss, parent and community involvement. Within all these deficiencies are many aspects of big scope and efforts to improve in each of these areas. But it really boils down to one thing in my mind, and that is to have the presence of a caring adult who has the time to be a part of a child's learning to read journey. When my children were in elementary school, I helped start a reading tutoring program for kindergarten through 3rd grade children. And typically we would have 40 to 60 tutors in the year that would come once a week, 30 minutes a week. There are just numerous heartwarming stories that I can convey to you, but the one that I enjoyed the most to tell is about a little kindergarten student named Claire. Typically when a tutor starts, they would start in October, and that would give the teacher 6 weeks to get acclimated and identify students in her classroom that needed help and needed a reading buddy. So Claire worked with Miss Smith for about 5 weeks, and one day Miss Brotherton, her teacher, came to me and said, "Van, I'm going to tell you what's happened with Claire." came to school, she was a withdrawn little child, never spoke in class, didn't interact much with the children, and would go to speech therapy once or twice a week for a lisp issue. But after having worked with Ms. Smith, the tutor, for about 5 weeks, her whole demeanor has changed. She's engaged in the class, she's actually talking, her attitude is improved, and she's learning. So I immediately called the tutor and to tell her what her effort has meant to her, to this little girl. Because often when you're tutoring or being a reading buddy, especially to the younger children, like kindergarten, 3rd grade level, you don't always realize the impact that you have. Because it's not always about the academic improvement, but it's about someone being in their corner. Someone who asks them about their day, encourages them to do well in school, is glad to listen to them. The presence of a caring adult in this child's life has made a big difference. Each one of you have an opportunity to be that caring adult, and you can do it very easily and be a part of this general campaign to have by 2020, having all 3rd graders reading it proficiently by the end of the 3rd grade year. And that is when you're around children in your sphere, whatever realm you're in, especially children that are 10 and under, ask them about what they're reading that day. Ask them to tell you about it. You tell them about your books. Instead of asking them about what TV show they went to or movie they went to or what sport they're doing, ask them about your reading, because when you do that, that builds the value of reading in their minds and makes it an important skill that they want to continue to achieve. There's also other ways to be involved if you want to be involved formally, and that's it. These are ways you can be involved in a Little Rock School District. But you also, private schools, if it's more convenient to be reading buddy at a private school, believe me, every school needs a reading buddy. If there's too many children that do not have a caring